The start of the second film, Through the Looking Glass, takes place 3 years after Alice in Wonderland. And basically, Alice has become a boss. She is doing so well. She's following her dreams. She's doing impossible things. She's pretty fearless. And, she is what we would call a modern woman. But when she returns to England, she encounters a not modern society, a society that doesn't think she can do things, that she should have power, that she can make her own decisions, a society that tells her it's not proper for her to follow her dreams, and that those impossible things that she is so good at doing really aren't appropriate for her to do. And while and also she has to contend with that on one hand, and on the other side, the fact that she said she was going to be away for a year and she had been away for 3, and that there were people that she loves who were at home that she had left behind, who worried about her, and that her pursuing her dreams came at a cost to other people, and she's confronting that for the first time. One of the things that I was excited about exploring with my character in this one was, in the first film, she talks a lot about this kindness vow that she's taken, that she cannot harm another living creature. And I always thought, well, that's a vow. That's not necessarily your soul or your character. So I thought, who is she? And I always thought she's the Red Queen's sister. She's not a perfect, she's going to have some of that darkness running through her as well, but she has to keep a very tight lid on it. She has to keep it very repressed. And so in the first film, I played around with the idea of it sort of popping out around the edges. In this film, you discover why she had to take the kindness vow, and that actually sort of a large part of her persona, who she is now and what she represents, is in reaction to her sister, and that her taking the kindness vow was sort of a political maneuver, and didn't necessarily come from her or from a sense of a call of duty. She wasn't necessarily called to kindness. She accepted that as a result of a previous action. One of the things that excited me most about getting to come back was that I was going to get to spend so much time with Helena Bonham Carter, because a lot of our stories deal with the sister's backstory. We find out why the Red Queen, Erasabeth, how her head got big, and you find out that I actually had something to do with it. And you get a sense of the guilt that's been weighing on my character for many years, the guilt which leads her to, in a very difficult moment, do the quote-unquote right thing and take the kindness vow and take the crown from her sister. So you actually find out that Erasabeth, who in the first film was pretty concretely portrayed as evil, actually has a very sad backstory, and that's pretty sympathetic. And I think at moments you even feel sorry for her, that all this happened to her. And you find out that my character, has been living with this terrible secret for a really long time. And, and they're able to heal a little bit, because at the end of the day, Erasabeth's Erasabeth, and I'm not quite sure the head is entirely to blame for who she is. Wonderland and Underland is a place of limitless imagination. So when you meet characters, there's nobody sort of wispily drawn or sketchy. You're meeting full, almost, kind of like live action cartoons, which is so much fun to play. But in the first film, it was very much, there is good and there is evil. And in the second film, I think the creative forces that be took a more nuanced approach to how things got to be the way they were. People aren't born evil necessarily. So what are as for example, Erasabeth, the Red Queen, who does very bad things to people. But the question was, where does that come from? So a lot of the sort of established and accepted ideas of who these characters are and what Underland is, which we leaned very heavily on in the first film, are explored in this film, and we get into the backstories of why everybody is the way they are. Johnny did such a fun thing with the character in the first film. It was so entertaining and lovable and surprising, and which was key to the second film working, because you have to care about the Hatter and you have to really believe that his madness adds a wonderful sense of fun and color to a world that is better for it. And when you see him suppressing that, when you see him fighting that, when you see him not being himself, it's heartbreaking. That's not what you want for him. That's not what you want for him. I want for him as a character, and it's not what I want for him as an audience member. And I think that because Johnny created a character that is so lovable, watching him go through that has the resonance that it does. It was great to spend time with Helena. Helena is so much fun. She's so smart and witty and inventive, and acting with her is it's such a treat because you never know what she's going to do from one take to the next, so you just feel like you're getting to play all the time. And she loves to have a laugh, so we laugh together, and yeah, I have a lot of happy memories from this job. He brings such an affability to the set every day, and he has seemingly boundless energy, and he and has an enormous amount of work to get through, and then has the added pressure of inheriting someone else's visual style while still wanting to make it distinctively his own thing. And he's just really being a champion throughout the entire thing. He's still wonderful to work with, totally available, totally, upbeat and professional and fun. I think the thing that we're all here for is to just make the fans of the first one happy, and especially the kids, because this film really resonated with kids. I've had a lot of young people come up to me, and and this is one of their favorite films, and so I think we just want to take them further into the journey, get them to believe in impossible things, and get them to believe that they have muchness. I think those are two such wonderful concepts to put out there into the world.